It has very recently been revealed that the HMS Titanic was built by Freemasons. Lord Peary, chairman of the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, where the Titanic was built, and director of White Star Alliance parent company, was also a Freemason. I plan to do another post in the future that expands on my thoughts on who the Phoenicians were, where they came from, and where they went. For now, I will connect them with the Freemasons with the simple notion that they both claim to have built Solomon's temple. Freemasons, this is the legend that is now almost universally accepted by the great mass of the Masonic fraternity. Perhaps 9 out of 10 of the Freemasons of the present day, that is to say, all those who receive tradition with the undoubting faith that should be given to history only, conscientiously believe that Freemasonry, as we now see it, organized into lodges and degrees, with grand masters, masters, and wardens, with the same ritual observances, was first devised by Solomon, king of Israel, and assumed its position as a secret society during the period when the monarch was engaged in the construction of the Temple of Mount Moriah. Phoenicians, at King Solomon's command, they quarried fine large stones for the foundation of the temple. Solomon's and Hiram's workmen and men from the city of Byblos prepared the stones and the timber to build the temple. Let's leave it there and save a deeper dive for another time. The Freemasons essentially carry on the spirit of the Phoenicians. Time goes on and the Phoenicians spread to Carthage, to Iberia, to Rome, to all of Europe. They are the Knights Templar, aka the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon. Poor indeed. What fun. I bet you never saw a theory connecting the Titanic to the Templars before. Fast forward a little bit and also understand that the Red Cross is also a part of their lineage. The Red Cross was started by a supposed Freemason. Can't seem to confirm this solidly, but his brother most certainly was. And was also the first Peace Prize winner, and also formed a precursor to the League of Nations. The Red Cross is likely a symbol carried over from the Templars' Red Cross. The Britannica went on to become a Templar stronghold on water, with red crosses everywhere and gold smoke stacks. We can go deeper on this as well, but for now, just take it as an interesting coincidence. This blog is not written by a Freemason, but it seems to make a pretty strong case that the G is for goddess. Go ahead and read it, quality work. The Phoenicians were nice people. They sacrificed their children to their gods. One of their favorite was Astarte, goddess of love and war. She's also associated with Isis, Ishtar, and Aphrodite. Most people only know anything about the Greek pantheon, so thus is the stage our story is set. Here is a quick timeline. The Titanic sinks in 1912. Dying on it is a mega-rich opponent of the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve is quietly signed into law on Saturnalia, December 25, in 1913. World War I breaks out in 1914. The Bolshevik Revolution happens in 1917, bringing to life the first communist state. No one knows what the star is for in its symbology. World War I finally ends in 1918. I'm going to ignore point 2. It's a big point, but most Titanic theories already zero in on this aspect of it, so feel free to explore that more in the thread if you wish. White Star makes 3 ships named Olympic, Titanic, and Britannic, and it was recently revealed that almost every one at the top were Freemasons. So let's look at the myth of the Battle of the Titans from Wikipedia. The stage for this important battle was set after the youngest Titan, Cronus, overthrew his own father, Uranus, the sky and ruler of the cosmos. with the help of his mother, Gaia. Uranus drew the enmity of Gaia when he imprisoned her children, the Hecatontures and Cyclopes, in Tartarus. Gaia created a great cycle and gathered together Cronus and his brothers to convince them to castrate Uranus. Only Cronus was willing to do the deed, so Gaia gave him the sickle and placed him in ambush. When Uranus met with Gaia, Cronus attacked Uranus and with the sickle cut off his genitals, casting them into the sea. In doing so, he became the king of the Titans. But Uranus made a prophecy that Cronus' own children would rebel against his rule, just as Cronus had rebelled against his own father. Uranus' blood that had spilled upon the earth gave rise to the giants Erinyes and Meliae. From his semen or blood of his cut genitalia, Aphrodite arose from the sea. Was the Titanic a blood sacrifice to Astarte by Phoenix as a ritual before the onset of the Great War? I don't know. Maybe. We all know what a phoenix is, but it's not a good emblem. The way I view it, the phoenix represents the idea that if you burn something down in a great sacrifice, an even greater result will arise from the ashes. I could deep dive into this another time. Anyways, guess who waited nearby witnessing the ritual? Kali is the Hindu goddess or Devi of death, time, and doomsday, and is often associated with sexuality and violence, but is also considered a strong mother figure. Wait, who? Oh, sorry, I mean the SS Californian. In a later post, I plan to propose that the French Revolution, World War I, and World War II were specifically provoked to bring about worldwide communism, and also that communism is a Freemason invention and their ultimate goal. Some musing on the fact that the Titanic was going from the old world to the new world made me think of the movie with Jack and Rose. Did you know that the Union Jack is likely called Jack because of King James VI or 1? This is his heraldic badge. The rose is associated with Aphrodite. Oh, and this is what he looked like. Strange guy, and yes, he was a Mason. King of Scotland, 1567-1625, and the first Stuart King of England, 1603-25. English historians have tended to portray him as a coward and a fussy and foolish pedant, the wisest fool in Christendom. In fact, he was reasonably successful in his main goals, increasing national prosperity, maintaining peace with Europe, and settling the church. Today, he is remembered for commissioning the so-called King James Bible, or Authorized Version. On the west wall of the Lodge Hall, used by Lodge Schoon in Perth No. 3 in Perth, Scotland, can be found a mural depicting James VI kneeling at their altar at his initiation. The oldest existing record of the lodge, called the Mutual Agreement of 24 December 1658, records that James was entered Freemason and Fellow Craft of the Lodge of Scone on 15 April 1601. James also appointed William Shaw as Master of the Work and Warden General in 1583, with the commission of reorganizing the Masonic craft in 1598. Shaw issued the first of his statutes, setting out the duties of Masons to their lodge and to the public, imposing penalties for unsatisfactory work and inadequate safety practices. Shaw drew up a second statute in 1599, wherein the first veiled reference to the existence of esoteric knowledge within the craft of stone masonry can be found.